Do what you've been coached to do, what you know how to do, and play with incredible effort every snap. Hey, and for you seniors, make it one you'll never forget.
Let's go.
Everybody got it?
Let's
Let's
go.
get out there.
Let's go.
Let's go get it, man. Let's go!
Welcome to the Coach Bryan Moore Show. I'm Margaret Ann Prater alongside Coach Bryan Moore. And make sure to look for us every Wednesday on YouTube on the Hartsel Broadcast channel where this show is going to come out. And then also, if you can't make it to the game on Friday night, tune in to the NFHS Network. Coach, let's thank our sponsors real quick. We got Life Church Agency on Main, Warmack Commercial Real Estate, Peck Funeral Home, Eddie Pruitt Ford, Express Bath, and Coleman Regional Hospital. All right, we're 8-2. Can't complain about that. Personally, I think this was probably one of y'all's best coaching jobs because you're coming off an off week.
Yeah.
Okay, teams don't usually play well off an off week. This game, in terms of the playoffs, means nothing. I mean, you weren't playing for a spot or ranking or anything like that.
Right.
These guys went out there on a cold night and really stuck it to a pretty good 7-18.
And they really did.
What did you do to get that mindset?
Well, we hadn't played well in 2 weeks. You know, we felt like, you know, against Athens, we talked about that. We just didn't feel like, especially offensively, that we were very explosive. And then against Decatur, obviously, we didn't play well at all. So we spent 2 weeks finding our identity again. You know, I asked the coaches, I said, can we get it back? Do you think that we can kind of get the, you know, into the Oxford, beginning of the Muscle Shoals kind of formula? You know, can we get that back? And I think we did. Bob Jones is good. I mean, they're a really good team, especially, you know, we mentioned that they won 5 of 6. They're a 7A playoff team. They've got a chance to, you know, to go to Hewitt and play, and they're just a good team. And so for us to be at 28-7 and 35-14 in the game, I thought was really impressive. I thought it was kind of a weird night because defensively we didn't hit our goals, but it was because it was so different. It wasn't modern football. I mean, it was 3 yards in a cloud of dust. So like our goals are kind of set towards today's game, you know, and that took us back 30 years, that ball game. So, but I was proud that we were able to win a game like that. Our kids were relentless in their effort. They played so hard defensively, and then offensively played extremely well for the first time in a month.
Yeah, that's I've got that down. But the slow start.
Yeah.
This is not a positive question.
Yep.
We have yet to score a touchdown on our opening drive.
0 for 10.
Well, I mean, we're winning a lot, so
we might as well not script, I guess, you know. I know that was my deal. I think as an offensive coordinator, offensive play caller, whatever, that's kind of your deal. Like, scripting is everything. It's how the game's going to start. It's sort of like the momentum, like what do we want the drive to look like? And we script the first 3 drives, and you know, you put so much time and energy into it, and we do it as a staff. And, you know, Will looks for input from obviously Matt and, you know, JD and all those guys, Jesse and everybody. But I don't know. It's just been a weird year. Like, I've taken the ball a couple of times, you know, to try to start first with the ball. We've kicked off. I don't know. I did mention it. I said, you know, we scored 5 of 6 possessions, but we still didn't score that first one.
right.
You know, and I said, so guys, I think the best thing to do as a coach is look at your practice plan and figure out if, you know, what you need to do early in practice, but also like focus and talk about it to the kids. You know, it's kind of like the elephant in the room. I'm like bringing it up, guys. We've got to figure out how to get ahead in the game. Like, what's that going to feel like? Because we've struggled so much early, and really the first quarter all together wasn't real pretty, you know, and, you know, we gave up I think the second possession, they had the ball, they scored, you know, against our defense, and we gave a big pass. But anyway, I think we got to start fast. We got to figure out what that looks like, because in the playoffs it's so huge to start fast and not to get ahead. But at the Center Point game last year, we didn't start very fast. We're down 14-0. So like, we've got to be better there early, and we're trying everything we can to figure it out.
Well, I mean, if anything, this season has taught you how to be flexible. I know you're kind of a routine guy, and boy, have you gone outside your comfort. This has definitely been a year of growth for the whole season.
You know what? I think so it's 9 years for me as a head coach, and this has been the most difficult. It's been, but kind of like in life, it's kind of the most rewarding.
Right.
You know, you've been through struggles and failures, and, you know, you figure it out. It makes you better. It does stretch you, you know. And like Friday night, an example of that, we're on 565. It's standstill traffic.
Right.
So if you know me, if I'm not there on time, I'm about panic attack here, you know. And we went 1.5 miles in 50 minutes. So we were almost standstill. We get to Bob Jones. So I'm texting the guys. I'm on the bus. All the coaches are there already having set up. They're just waiting on us, and so we're schedule adjustment stuff. Most of the time our pregame starts at 5:15, 5:20. We start band warm-ups and cues warm-up, just all the things that we do. So we're not there until like 5:40. So it is just a mad dash. But I will say this, and you're talking about the growth, for all of us, me included, like that change in schedule gave us a little bit more life. You know what I mean? If that makes sense. So like week 10, we've done this a lot. So it was different, faster, and then here we go, we're playing. And I thought we had better energy. So sometimes, it's a little bit of a blessing to sort of go through that stuff because you figure out maybe different perspective, different angles to look at things through, different lenses to look through. And it definitely did that. But this year as a whole has been like that.
Well, I was thinking about, your play calling, starting with Jackson Nolan, Gadsden City. We kind of mixed things up a little bit more. And things like that.
We look totally different than those days. That feels like a year ago. So it's great.
No. And then I've got another just kind of crazy question. But I have always noticed, and you share your folder with me, so I get nosy and I look to see what we've got. And you always tell everybody what to wear.
Yeah.
Well, I freaked out a little bit because I looked. Nobody was all dressed the same. Burt's in short sleeves.
Yeah.
I asked him about that.
Yeah.
But everybody was different. Why was it mixed up?
Yeah, well, so the signalers are different, and we've got multiple signalers and dummy signalers and stuff kind of going on that. So we do that so the kids can see. Like, so we want them looking at like a gray shirt when everybody else is wearing black or whatever, or red, whatever. And Coach Newton, Coach is like this. He's about my best friend here, so he's tough guy persona, right? Like, and that's what you want to be as a defense coordinator. And so I told him Wednesday or Thursday, I said, hey, man, if you don't want to wear the hoodie, just wear your short sleeve black, because I know that's your deal or whatever that, you like to, but it is something. I will say this, as we get to the playoffs and all that stuff, I did actually in the staff meeting yesterday told the coaches, I said, don't go out there to practice looking like an Eskimo. Don't come in here with all this stuff on, because I think it's something about like the mentality. I mean, you're going to be cold, right? Like I'm a South Central Alabama-ish guy, so like I like the warm weather. Okay, I'm good with 100. I'm not good with 50. Like I'd rather it be really hot. So, but it's part of it. Like you have to play in it. You can't control the environment. So just deal with it and don't make it look like we're over there shivering and everybody's got gloves on. So like I made it a point. I wore the hoodie. I didn't put my jacket on Friday, and at practice Thursday morning it was 25 degrees at practice there at 7 a.m. So it's frost on the field. But I didn't want everybody looking like that. I want the kids, like, we're not gonna wear hoodies. I don't let them wear sleeves unless I buy them, and they're a specific type of sleeve that's sticky. And so we're very, how I am about that stuff. But I do think that there is something to deal with that. And like, if that's what coach wants to do, as far as what he wears and all that kind of stuff, I think that's fine.
I think he's lobbying for shorts, and I'm not kidding.
Hey, that may never happen.
He said if he let me wear shorts, I would.
He said, Coach, if there's ever been a time, this is Austin game 1, it's like 100.
Oh, honestly. And you wouldn't let him wear shorts.
And I said, I can't do it.
I've been getting questions about injuries, but I think we're finally almost healthy.
We really, we had great energy, and was a little flu going around, in our schools. Like my son was sick Thursday, and anyway, we got a little bit, but I think our guys are feeling good. I think the injuries are coming around. We're not perfect. I don't think anybody is this time of year. We had 2 specific ones on Friday. Both guys plan to be back, so we're very fortunate in that way. We are as healthy as we've been since Gadsden City, so before landing. So, we're really blessed in that way.
All right, and then one more question, general question, then we'll get to offense. Senior class, we were talking about this. You've got seniors in the last 3 years, they've won 30 games.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of people can say that. What can you say about how these guys have grown, like literally? Because I remember this little kid who jumped up his freshman year and broke his ankle after his first interception. That was our player of the game, by the way. That was Peyton Steele.
Unreal.
And now see him as a leader, and he's grown up. I mean,
yeah.
So what can you say about these guys?
Just a special group to me. We talked about it. I mean, we're going to continue to, hopefully, for 5 more weeks. But, to win 30 games in 3 years is, obviously we'd like to have won 45 games in 3 years. So, I mean, I think everybody understands that. That's our goal, but just to do that at the 6A level with the schedule that we play here, I mean, and we're not, I mentioned it last week on the show, like we're not incredibly talented. We have good players here, no doubt. And we have hardworking, tough kids. But everybody knows we're not going to have a bunch of 4 stars running around, and that's okay. Again, we all knew what we signed up for, and everybody knows who we are. But it makes us special too, right? That we can win. But like I mentioned with Decatur, we have to play well. That's the thing. Like, it's the consistency with which they play. Like, they play good people, but they have to scrap and fight and do all this stuff every single week and play so tough and everything and be so smart and execute, because there aren't any easy ones. I mean, you don't have those, 80-yard touchdown runs. They're very difficult. Rye Fletcher can do that some, but it's hard against the people we play. Like, you're not going to throw it 50 yards down the field to Isaiah's don't grow on trees,
Right.
Eli's and those guys. So we don't have those guys right now, but we've got good players. But it's been so impressive the way that our kids have believed in what we were going to do. We went through the COVID year, my first year, and it was just all ups and downs and just all the things that came with it, from the way everybody had to live to the way that you had to operate from right on the school, but whatever.
Right.
And it was hard, and we found a way to win 7 games that year. But from that point forward, that next year, we had a true offseason, true spring, and JT had the year he had, and we win 10 ball games that year, and then come back in 22 and we're even better, and win 12 games and go play a tough Mountain Brook team on the road. And then this year, to be younger, to be beat up, to lose your first game, and then respond to that and still win 8 regular season ball games against our schedule, still be in the top 10 in the state of Alabama, take the region champion to double overtime. I mean, just all the things they've done, they have done it. It doesn't have anything to do with us. It has everything to do with those kids and the way that they have bought in and played for each other.
I agree. All right, we'll be right back watching the Coach Bryan Moore Show.
Hi, I'm Jenny Tankersley.
I'm Dwight Tankersley.
And I'm Jane Hampton, and we're your agency on Main. Local realtors here to serve you. One of our team members will be more than happy to find you that perfect home. Go Tigers!
All right, we're back with Coach Bryan Moore. And Coach, let's talk about the offense. And I'm just going to ask you, I had heard rumors about Peyton Steele playing quarterback, and I'm over there philosophizing with one of our administrators. And I'm like, I would save him and just pull him out at the center point and be like, surprise,
Right.
got 2 QB.
Right.
But you didn't. You started playing.
Yeah.
So what was the thought?
Well, I think, it's a pretty good indicator of why we did it. Was like the second snap, Peyton dropped it, and and it's so funny. I always told the Qs, especially when they're new, and I just always remember it myself playing, was don't drop the first one. Like, I always just, hey, make sure you catch it, hand it off. And everybody seems like that's so easy, but anyway, it's just a lot of nervousness and emotions and stuff that go into it. And so he drops it, gets on it, and then runs the next play and doesn't make the first down, the only one of the night. We were 9 of 10 on conversion. We're 90% on 3rd and 4th down Friday night. It's unbelievable. But, I think that was the reason. Now, there's a ton more that we're going to do. I mean, so I think that was just a little appetizer for what Peyton actually can do. And then Noah too, how does that look together?
Right.
And because Noah played well. Noah threw some big, deep balls for the first time in a couple of weeks. He made a crazy throw on a screen to Rye that was a huge first down on 3rd and 8. So Noah's getting back to his form as well. And so having both of them, and then Rye feels great. He didn't feel perfect. We only ran him 3 times Friday night. And so we kind of held him and were really cautious, and Lincoln's feeling better. And so you get all those guys starting to feel better. Now we can really create some mixer runs and creative ways to get those guys the ball. And we're going to take care of our defense too. We wanted to see what that looked like. As good as we think Peyton is, or going into the Bob Jones game, how good we thought he could be, we still hadn't seen it. It's one thing to do it at practice, and obviously he's a great athlete, but it's a whole different deal when you're communicating the whole scheme, and then you're having to catch the snap and go through your reads and all that stuff when you haven't done it. So I think it was good, and then I think our guys did a great job of just keeping a small package with him starting Friday, and then that will grow as we go through the season.
And it was successful.
It was very, stayed in a bubble, and he executed really well. We played by far the best up front we've played all year. They played great. I mean, they really did. 293 yards, 8.1 per carry.
But we need to talk about, that was one of the questions I was saying, because I got the lecture, and I know you did too. when we brag on them,
Yeah,
I mean, I got sat down.
I'm not
Well,
listening to
I
that.
got sat down.
Yeah.
When we brag on them, their follow-up game is not good. And I got talked to. He said, and I told Coach Moore too.
Yeah, yeah.
But 293, that's pretty. But now they want the full Prater experience because I have a lot of them in my class, and they were talking about how the quarterback center exchange with Peyton was something new,
Right.
and that they were really having to work on that. And,
Right.
and y'all are huddling.
Yep.
At all the plays. So why are we huddling?
Well, I think our recipe for success is, a 4-minute-ish offense for people that's just basically want to snap it late in the play clock, protect our defense, keep our play count low, because when we're about 50 snaps or less on defense, we're pretty good. I mean, we got some guys over there. I was watching back through the center point game from last year, and we're better defensively. We're significantly better. And we've got guys that, Jace Pruitt and Jay Lee Metz and all those guys that have come along and grown up and now take a Cole Miles, taking on those new roles. We got a good defensive football team, and so we need to protect those guys. And so that's another part of it. And when you got new cues and a lot of personnel changes, it's nice to get in that huddle like the NFL and communicate with each other.
Right.
It's okay in the huddle to say, hey, you got to line up on the left and go right here, or whatever that might look like. So I thought that was good, and put Peyton on a band as well, so we didn't have to learn all the signals because we've got 9 million signals. We laugh because we have a signal for everything, and anytime you come up with anything new, you got to come up with a new signal. And so Noah is on the field most of the time, and that way he can help Peyton with signals, and then he goes out and plays receiver or whatever, or he goes to Q, however that looks. But I thought the huddling helped us, and it also helped us kind of run the clock and get through that game quickly.
Well, and we could talk about both of our quarterbacks. Even you want to talk about student athletes. Those guys are students. I mean, they're so freaking smart.
Multi-talented.
Yeah.
I mean, Peyton obviously with baseball, Noah with golf and all that kind of stuff. I mean, it's just, and they're great ambassadors for our school and great representatives of what we want Hartsville kids to be like.
Well, and you went run heavy. We talked about that. Is that a thing that you're wanting to stick with? Because the ground and pound, you're right.
Yeah.
We're running Bert's favorite defense, he said, which is on the grass,
Yeah,
right?
no doubt.
So, the longer you can keep the ball, are y'all really going to look at more run heavy, or we?
Yeah, I mean, we've been pretty run heavy since Athens, through that game. That had to do with some limitations, that we had. But I think we still want to throw the football and find balance. And obviously Marcus is a huge part of that. And Trammell had a couple catches. Brady had 3. We took 3 shots to Brady, 2 posts, and then a go ball that was a pass interference. So it's good to get him in the mix as well. Jaden Morris continues to catch the ball well. Bubble screens and stuff's kind of his deal. As sort of an extra running back, we'll throw it to Ryan Lincoln. And throw it to Noah. Now, like we talked about, if Peyton's on the field, you'll see Peyton throw it more because Peyton can throw. Fortunately, he played quarterback. That was the whole thing, right? Him as a junior high guy, and he's a baseball guy, so he can throw.
Yeah.
Right. And so, he can do all that stuff. But I think we can be really creative and balanced. But to win in November and December, you got to be able to line up and stop the run and run the football. That never changes.
Awesome. Let's talk about Peyton's performance. He played both ways, but very limited on defense. I think he got in just for a few plays there. Is he going to do both ways, or are we just going to, maybe, are you stealing it?
It all has to do with the flow of the game. Coach Newton asked me that question in the staff meeting prior to Bob Jones. We were in there on a Sunday, and he said, what does that look like? And I said, I don't know. Usually I try and have an answer for everything. I didn't know. I don't know. I mean, because I wanted to see the ball game, and still I don't know, because I think it has to do with the type of team we're playing. Like we put Peyton in at the end against Bob Jones. First, he covers a kind of a heavy run pass type look where they tried to leak a tight end out and snap to their running back, and he was going to throw it. He covered him up perfectly because he's so smart and old, and he's done it forever. So it takes very little practice for Peyton to go over there and play defense. In a perfect world, it's probably 20 to 30 snaps on each side of the ball. But if we don't have to have him over there, and I thought our defense was playing well, and Hudson Buckaloo and Chris Hudson, and those guys were doing a good job on the back end, filling in for him at safety. And fortunately, Peyton played some linebacker too during the year.
Right.
So those guys have played. So they're not rookies. I mean, they're guys that have played, so we feel good about them too. And even Drake Borden went back there so Saban could come in at corner and Jay could play the other corner. But I think it all has to do with the flow of the game for Peyton.
Gotcha. All right, we'll be right back watching the Coach Bryan Moore Show.
This is Shane Odom with Marmac Commercial Real Estate. We approach real estate with our 3I approach: integrity, intelligence, and innovation. To be your full-service real estate company that can handle all your real estate needs, from commercial, such as warehouse, retail, apartments, to land, farms, residential developments, along with houses, such as investment homes or your dream home. Marmac Commercial Real Estate has over 15 years experience providing award-winning, full-service real estate experience. One team, endless possibilities. Marmac Commercial Real Estate.
All right, we're back with our player of the game. We got quarterback / linebacker, senior Peyton Steele. Peyton, let's just start with, what was your favorite moment so far this season? Because, I mean, you're a player of the game for playing quarterback, but you put some hits on some people playing linebacker. So what's been your favorite moment? And it can be practice too.
My favorite moment was my pick six against Coleman. I cannot stand Coleman, so I enjoyed that a lot.
Oh, I love beating. We could beat Coleman in chess, and I would still be excited about it.
I agree.
What was your initial reaction when they called you or said, "Hey, you want to play QB?"
I was a little nervous at first, but then I was like, okay, this will be fun. I'll try it out. I completely did not expect to play as much as I did last Friday, but it turned out well, and I was excited about it.
I'm betting they used the "if it ain't broke, don't fix it" kind of thing, because you were having a lot of success. So I would just keep feeding you until it didn't work anymore. But that was awesome. Now, did you play QB when you were younger?
Yes, I played in 8th grade at the junior high.
Gotcha. Because that's what some of the kids were saying. All right, I got a long question here. I'm just going to try to ad-lib it. Tuesday's a big day for you. You're going to sign to play baseball at the University of Alabama. So that means you're a dual sport guy. So can you just talk a little bit about what it's been like to play baseball and football? And knowing that baseball kind of is your primary sport, that's what you're going to go to college to play. But what kind of experience have you pulled out of this family of football and the sport itself?
I have a very big football family. I've always grew up around football. Football is my first love. I always wanted to be in the NFL, be an NFL football player. So I've always enjoyed playing football, and it really helps me be more competitive and fight through stuff. Like persevere through struggle. When we're gassed, somebody's gassed. You can't just be like, "Coach, get me out. I want to go." You got to get your butt back out there and get back on the field. So kind of helps me with that. In baseball, it's not much like that. It's kind of a different atmosphere and play style. But I think it helps me a lot with baseball and like competing with the opponent, and yeah.
So what would you tell somebody if they're trying to decide, hey, should I pick up football? Does that mess with my game or my other sport?
I would
tell
them to pick it up for sure. I mean, it makes me so much stronger, so much more competitive, and it gives me so much more grit. And I think I wouldn't be the baseball player I am today without football.
I saw that was great. I know you constantly want to improve. I mean, it's obvious. What part of your game are you trying to work on the most?
Right now, I just really want to get stronger. For Alabama, get more explosive, maybe run a little faster, jump a little higher, get my hips to be more explosive, stuff like that. So
gotcha. Best drip, who's got it?
Me. That's all me.
Every defensive player. So you're technically here for offense, but and your DBs, man,
yeah.
Nobody can tell them to the best drip. All right, and then what's your favorite part of practice? And I'll end this up.
Probably third downs. It's just competing between
ones on ones.
Ones against ones, put the ball down and play.
And is that the one you play for dessert?
Yes, that's for dessert. Whoever wins that gets dessert.
Gets to get dessert first. That's awesome. Well, thank you for your time, and I appreciate it. We'll be right back. You're watching the Coach Bryan Moore Show.
Peck Funeral Home is owned and operated by folks who live in the same communities they serve. Our employees are the heart of our business. The funeral home proudly employs over 30 local individuals. Currently, the funeral home is managed by Jeff Halbrooks, who has held that position for over 20 years. Our goal is simple and has remained the same now since 1929. Peck Funeral Home strives to provide genuine service from the heart.
I'm here with the defensive coordinator, associate head coach, Coach Burt Newton. And Coach, I'm just going to address the elephant in the room. You part my curiosity. Friday night, I'm looking down the sideline. I see people in hoodies. Me personally, I'm in 3 layers of clothing. My brother's got on his goose down, and I see this person in a short sleeve, lightweight windbreaker. I look, and it's you. It's 50 degrees outside.
Right.
Are you just cold-blooded or hot-natured or crazy?
I think my wife might think I'm cold-blooded, but not in that sense. I do think that as we go forward through the playoffs, and I've been doing this a long time, weather matters. And
are we gonna, some of these schools will come up here from south of us and play on turf every week and don't do grass and don't do water or wet fields and don't do any of that stuff that we do, and how they gonna handle it? And so I, in particular, am gonna say that we ain't cold and we're gonna be tougher than them and we're gonna embrace it. And then someone from one of them teams from down south is not gonna like it. So that's kind of my deal.
So it's supposed to be raining next week, so we're tank top.
Yeah, I think Friday is going to be wet and cold, and I'm all about it. I think our defense will eat it up, and I think any opponent that comes from south of here is not going to like it. So because they all play on turf, every one of them except us. We're the last 6A grass school I know about. Yep.
I mean, any competitive advantage. All right, now I'm actually going to talk about the game. I had to pick on you a little bit short sleep, but I like that.
Yeah.
All right, you guys were playing really well. Stopped Bob Jones quite a bit. You were out there a good bit.
We were.
We let up a little bit in the fourth quarter. What was going on there?
They had a big drive. They're playing with 9 linemen, so we're playing with 4 defensive linemen, which we're usually 3, 4 linebackers. Corners were out a lot of the game, and I think the biggest thing is, and then they scored, and then they got the onside kick.
Right.
And so that last drive after that, I said into the mic, I said, look, it don't matter. Time's running out. If they keep living like this, we're going to win this ball game. I don't have any pride, but they can score another touchdown, but they're not going to have time to win the game.
Right.
But our guys stepped up, and I think it was the 26th play in a row besides the special teams play that we were on the grass there in the fourth quarter, and they stepped up in a 4th and 5 and stopped them. And so, again, they were dead and exhausted, and coach was like, use timeouts. It's like, no, let's just survive it. Let's let the clock run. Let's survive it. And but they got the stop when it mattered. I was so proud of them.
That's great. That's that intestinal fortitude they talk about.
They got a bunch of them.
All right, let's talk about Porter Simmons. Were you glad to have him back? We missed him at Decatur.
Yes. We are a different looking bunch when he's out there. He's number one. He's really, really good, but he has different energy and we're not down on him. When you take someone like that off, and then those guys start playing more plays than they played, it affects you up front and stuff. And so it was great. He got a new brace. He's right. I was if it would have been up to me, I'd have put him back in against Decatur in the fourth quarter. And thank goodness Coach Folks was like, no, you're going to ruin the whole week if you put him back in, try to win this game. I was like, we have to win this game. But anyway, we won anyway, and held him, and we did right by him in his shoulder, and so he's good to go now. So he's feeling great. So I'm fired up for him going forward in this playoff run.
All right, let's talk about one of the seniors. He got his first pick against Bob Jones. That's Caleb. What can you say about how he's grown this season?
He's been great. He's grown up so much. He didn't play. None of our corners played that much because literally we were playing 9 offensive linemen. So, do you want Caleb taking on a 300-pound number 81 H-back? No, you don't. And Caleb don't want that either. And it's not going to be effective. So, we play with basically all linebackers and defensive linemen a lot against them in our jumbo package or whatever. And but the way that he handled that, him, Saban, and Drake both, and Drake had to play a little more defensive safety because of Peyton moving over to playing so much quarterback. But they were such good teammates about it and didn't complain and just handled it really, really well.
That's awesome. That's what you're looking for at this point.
No doubt. But the pick was great. I know I watched the show with Mark and David. Third quarter, by the way. There's some comments there that are great. But I watched the show. He should have put it on the ground, and then one of our coaches said, he should have knocked that down. And he got over there, and I said, yes, in theory, you should knock it down. I said, but you get a chance to make plays. You make plays. Because he said, I should knock that down. I said, yes, but if you have a chance to make a play, don't ever apologize for making plays, ever. So I was really proud of him.
Well, that's awesome. And you talked about Peyton, and that's my final question for you is, he played a lot of time at QB.
Yep.
I've heard he's going to play both ways. What's the game plan with that? Are you going to keep him in at linebacker? We're the quarterback of the defense.
Yeah, we're gonna manage that, and Jake really is the quarterback of the defense. Now Peyton can do it. Okay. I mean, there's no doubt. And Peyton came over. I think he played the last 5 plays a day of our morning walkthrough, but if Coach texted me on Sunday and was like, captains. So early in the morning, and I said, for defense, Peyton's still playing offense. Was the captain for the defense because he kept us off the grass.
Right.
And so, we're all about team and all that. And Peyton, if it matters, is going to be in there. But I will say, it got to the point on Friday night where I think Coach Tiffin and Coach Skylar Foreman were kind of managing him Like, when does he come back to us and all that? And I said, look, y'all keep him. Let Will talk with him. Let we be able to chat with Matt and get him right. And then if it's okay, and if you're done with all that, then bring him back. If he's not out of gas and we want him hydrated and all that. But so I think, of course, I'd love to have him be our guy if play. But what he's giving us right now at quarterback is a difference maker. So,
All right. Well, thank you for your time. We'll be back next week for the Coach Bryan Moore Show.
Come see us at Eddie Pruitt Ford. We're a proud supporter of Hartselle Athletics.
We're back with Coach Bryan Moore. Coach, let's look to next Friday. You're facing Center Point, and on paper, it says they're 7-3, but they technically kind of lost 4 games. They lost to Pell City, and then they had to forfeit. So, according to the record, they're 7-3. Right. I looked it up, and they're very balanced offensively. Run, pass. What can we look for from these guys?
Always a dynamic cue. The quarterback last year is gone, and the running back that was so good played the North-South game with Isaiah. I went to Princeton. How about that? That's so good. Yeah, good for him. He's a great player, smart guy. But anyway, they returned a few guys. I think he was 6 last year. Is now the quarterback number 1. Okay, so he was a receiver, came to Q. So he runs around. He's very athletic and talented. He'll even play a little corner. When teams kind of move the ball, they'll slide him over there. He's long. He looks to be 6'1" or so. Good-looking kid. Can go. He scored from distance against Clay Chalkville between the hashes, so scrambling is a real thing for him. He's best when he's on the move. So getting him out of the pocket and, scrambling around, and then look out, because the thing about that, when you get into a scramble drill scenario, is guys come out of whatever coverage you're in. They're in such a bind. It was like the Jaden Daniels guy against Alabama early in the game. Do I cover this receiver that's really good down the field, or do I come off and tackle this guy? Well, then next thing you know, he scrambled for 30 yards.
Right.
All right, well, that's still better than him throwing a 50-yard touchdown over your head. So, it's a real dilemma that they put him in. They got 2 good backs. They rotate those guys. And they do such a good job of staying simple and giving those kids things that they can be successful in. So, it's not super complex. It's not a bunch of heavy formations like Bob Jones are running at you, but they're very creative in the way they do it. And one of the best things they do, it's crazy, is 2-point plays. Last year we had a deal with that. And the reason that's such a big deal is because it can put you in front or behind the team and get you off schedule, Right. So it should be 14-14, but instead it's 15-14, and now you're behind in the point. It just, from my management standpoint, it's a mess. I don't like it at all. And so we've got to defend that well. They've got about 12 different ways they run 2-point plays. So it just adds more to you. So today in practice, we've got a period that we're working that stuff, and each day we've added a period to practice to be able to put some time into that. So they do a really good job with their scheme.
Well, and I was looking at stats, so you confirmed that they had not just left them out, but they had attempted 1 field goal the whole season, no extra points.
Right.
So you're looking at 4-down football.
Yeah.
They're just going to keep going.
All the time. So, yeah, that adds to it as far as when they're a plus territory, for sure, they're going for it. And then they'll, what we call Superman punt, which is just a quick kick, basically with the quarterback. Okay, so you can't get a returner out there. Bob Jones did the same thing, which makes it tough. You can't go block the punt or anything like that. And then when they score, the hardest thing with high school kids is you think about it. When they score, you've just given up a touchdown, so you're feeling that, right? I'm not feeling good about what just happened. I may be down on myself or whatever. Well, I got to go defend another play, and I have to rise up and do that. And so we're going to talk a ton about that this week.
Jake Haynes he caught a few kickoffs.
Looks pretty good.
He was ready to go.
Yeah, get that guy on offense.
All right, we'll be right back. We watch the Coach Bryan Moore Show.
Better is not just a word. It's a vision. And our vision is clear and focused on you. We're helping you get better by being better every day, by seeing what's possible and making it a reality. Investing in facilities because we are fully invested in you. Updating our technology for the better and welcoming exceptional new physicians to our team. Because you get better when we get better.
We're back with our Eddie Pruitt Ford, Dana McCutcheon fan question of the week. I'm very impressed with how our guys stepped up Friday night. The run game was excellent. Will you use the run game for Center Point like that? Will you continue that game?
I think that's got to be the recipe going forward. You know, I think that different, like I said, more multiple. You know, we were pretty, handcuffed even Friday, or we kept ourselves that way just so that we didn't outsmart ourselves.
Right.
We ran the same play a lot Friday night, and that's okay. If it's working, why would you change it?
Exactly.
And so we're 8.1 per carry, so I mean, something was going well. But I think, for us, we got to continue to be creative, but we just have to understand, and I've talked to our offensive staff a ton about this. I'm with them. I want to throw that thing around, and I want to score 50 points, and this is how I came through this profession, was calling offensive football plays and trying to score. But there comes a time where our players included, I talked to the receivers about this yesterday, we're going to throw the ball, okay, but you may have more limited opportunities than you had in the past. And if that's the case, you make the most of them.
Exactly.
And we've got to understand who we are. We got to win the kicking game. All right, we got to be able to run the football and be creative with our mixers and using these different people. We don't need to run, Rye, I think it was Muscle Shoals he ran it so many times. I can't remember. I know he had the huge game against them. Maybe it was Athens. He ran it 28 times or whatever.
A lot.
It was a lot. That's too many. Rye's in his sweet spot about 15 to 20, right in there, okay, 12 to 15 even. Is when he's really elite and he catches a couple and stuff like that. So getting Lincoln Rice some carries, Jaden Morris had some carries, getting him in the game, Ownby in the game, getting that guy going, Peyton and Noah. You'll see Noah run now. We've taken care of it the last month. So I just think that for us, it's about being creative, but understanding who we are right now, playing great defense, and if we can get a 2-score lead, bleeding that clock, and let's just keep playing round after round.
Absolutely. All right, we'll be right back.
Looking to remodel your home bathroom? Call Express Bath today.
They were good people to work with. I had no trouble with them.
We always take care of everybody, no matter how big and small.
The team at Express Bath, we do what we say we're going to do.
The highlight was seeing a new shower in a 60-year-old house. It was a great experience.
We're a real company, we're real people, and we love serving real customers.
Call us to schedule an appointment today. Express Bath. We'll bring the duck.
Alabama owned and Alabama loved.
All right, and this week in Hartsville High Athletics, we're going to start Wednesday, November the 8th. Bowling is going to host Grissom and James Clemens. On Thursday, November the 9th, HJHS basketball. Yep, they're up and kicking. They're going to Priceville. Bowling is going to host Sparkman and Bob Jones. On Friday, we've got one big event. That's going to be that football game at J.P. Kane Stadium against Centerpoint. On Saturday, girls and boys basketball, high school basketball, is going to have their first main contest. The girls went to the tournament this weekend, but they're going to be close to home. Boys are kicking up for the Wallace State tourney. And on Monday, November 13th, the junior high basketball team is going to Muscle Shoals. And Tuesday, our boys will travel to Mortimer Jordan for basketball. That's it. That's this week in Hartsville High Athletics.